There, this is Margaret and welcome to my YouTube channel Grammar Buzz Learning Made Easy. Hey, thanks for joining me today. In my previous video, we have already learnt about subject-verb agreement and we already know what it is. But in today's video, we are going to learn about some important rules of subject-verb agreement. But before we move on to the main part of the lesson, you know what? Let us quickly get to know about the lesson objectives. And the lesson objectives for the day aims at helping us to know the rules of subject-verb agreement and also know their correct use. Now, before we start on with the main lesson, let us quickly recapitulate what we have already learnt in our previous video. Well, we have already learnt that for making a sentence grammatically correct, the subject of the sentence must agree with the verb in number. This means both need to be singular or both need to be plural. That is, a singular subject must agree with a singular verb and a plural subject must agree with a plural verb. We have also learnt that nouns and verbs form their plurals in opposite ways. Nouns add an S to the singular form to form their plural. For example, one dog, which is a singular, and many dogs, that's plural. But verbs remove an S from the singular form to form their plural, which is very much unlike nouns. For example, eats, which is singular, and eat, which is plural. Now that we have already recapitulated what we have learnt in our previous video, let us try to understand few important rules of subject-verb agreement. Well, let us start with the general and the basic rule of subject-verb agreement, and that is subjects and verbs must agree with one another in number. Now let us try and understand this rule a little further. The first basic rule is singular subjects take singular verbs. Let us consider the following example. She writes every day. She writes every day. Note in the sentence the subject she is singular in number and it agrees with the singular verb writes. Don't get confused with the S at the end of writes. Remember, singular verbs always end in S. Well, now it's time for plural subjects. Remember, plural subjects take plural verbs. Well, if the subject is plural, the verb must also be plural. Let us consider the following example. And it says, they write every day. They write every day. In the sentence, the subject they refers to more than one person, so it is a plural subject. So we can say that the subject is plural in number. Now, what about the verb in the sentence? Can you say whether the verb agrees with the subject? The verb write is certainly a plural verb, so it definitely agrees with the plural subject. And we know it's a plural verb because it does not end in S. So we can say that the subject and the verb certainly agree. Remember, if the subject is plural, the verb must also be plural. Hey, there is something more for us to remember. That is, these agreement rules do not apply to verbs used in simple past tense without any helping verb. Let us consider the following example. The girl spoke to me. And also, the girls spoke to me. Well, note, in the sentences the verb is in the past tense and without any helping verb. So the agreement rules of subject and verb must agree with one another in number does not apply here. Remember, if the subject is in past tense, then the agreement rule that the subject must agree with the verb in number does not apply. Well, we also have something else to remember. That is, The agreement rules do, however, apply to helping verbs like is, are, was, were, have, has, does, do when they are used with a main verb. Remember, the agreement rule do, however, apply to helping verbs when they are used with the main verbs. Let us consider the following example to understand this better. That is, the girl has spoken to me. And the next example, the girls have spoken to me. Note, in the first sentence, the helping verb has is a singular helping verb and it agrees with the singular subject girl. Whereas, in the second sentence, the helping verb have is a plural helping verb and it agrees with the plural subject girls. So remember, the agreement rule, however, applies to helping verbs like is, are, was, were, have, has, do, does when they are used with a main verb. Well, now let us move on with the second important rule. And the second important rule of subject-verb agreement says that for I or you as the subject, the verb takes the plural form. Remember, for I or you as subject, the verb always takes the plural form. So, when you have a sentence that uses I or you as the subject, even though the subject is singular, the verb takes the plural form. Now, let us consider some examples. The first example says, I eat broccoli. In this sentence, the subject is I, so we use the plural verb eat. Let us look into another example, and it says, you play the violin. You play the violin. In this sentence too, you is the subject, so we use the plural verb play. Well, what about our next rule? The next rule says, two or more singular subjects joined by and use a plural verb. Remember, two or more singular subjects joined by and use a plural verb. Now let us try to understand this rule further with the help of an example. So, our example says, Kunal and Rohan go to the same school. Kunal and Rohan go to the same school. In this sentence, the singular subject Kunal is joined to another singular subject Rohan with the help of and. Here Kunal and Rohan are singular subjects, but combining them both, the meaning of the subject becomes plural. So we use the plural verb go. Remember, plural verbs do not end in S. Hey, I guess you have quite understood this rule. But you know what? There are exceptions to this rule. So let us find out what it is. Well, the exception says two singular nouns referring to the same subject always takes a singular verb. Remember, two singular nouns referring to the same subject always take a singular verb. Well, this means if the noun suggests one idea or refers to the same person or object, the verb is singular. Let me explain this with the help of an example. And our example sentence is, the captain and coach of the team has been sacked. The captain and coach of the team has been sacked. Here, the captain and the coach of the team refer to the same person, that is one person only. So we use the singular verb has. Let us consider another example. And it says, red beans and rice is my mom's favorite dish. Red beans and rice is my mom's favorite dish. Here red beans and rice refer to one combination of food. It means the combination tells us about only one thing. So we use a singular verb is. But remember, well, what do we need to remember? You need to remember is if the subjects are both plural and are connected by the words or, nor, neither nor, either or not only but also, the verb is plural. Remember, if the subjects are both plural and they are connected by words like or, nor, neither nor, either or not only but also, the verb is plural. Let us try to understand this with the help of an example. And our example sentence states, not only dogs but also cats are available at the animal shelter. Not only dogs but also cats are available at the animal shelter. Note the subjects in the sentence, that is dogs and cats. They are both plural subjects and they are joined by not only but also. So we use the plural verb are. Now let us move on with the next rule. And our next rule states, if two or more singular subjects joined by or, nor, the verb is singular. Remember, if two or more singular subjects are joined by or nor, the verb is singular. Well, let us try to understand this rule further with the help of an example. And our example states, neither Billy nor Tim was present in class. Neither Billy nor Tim was present in class. Here the subject Billy and Tim are singular subjects and they have been joined by nor. So we use the singular verb was. Let me give you another example to understand this rule further. And the next example states, either Jessica or John is to blame for the accident. Either Jessica or John is to blame for the accident. Well, in this sentence too, the singular subjects Jessica and John is joined by or. So we use the singular verb is in the sentence. Well, moving on with the next rule. Sentences having singular and plural nouns as subjects, the verb should agree the subject closest to it. Remember, sentences having singular and plural noun as subject, the verb should agree with the subject closest to it. And what does this rule mean? Well, let me explain this with the help of an example. That is, when a sentence contains both a singular and plural noun or pronoun joined by or nor, the verb should agree with the subject that is closest to it. This is also called the rule of proximity. Let us consider the example. Either the tigers or the lion has escaped from the zoo. In this sentence, the tigers is a plural subject and the lion is a singular subject. But since the verb is closest to the singular subject lion, it must be a singular verb. So we have to use the verb has. Let us look into another example. And that is, neither the lion nor the tigers have escaped from the zoo. Neither the lion nor the tigers have escaped from the zoo. In this sentence, the lion is a singular subject and the tigers is a plural subject. But note, the verb is closest to the plural subject tigers. So it must be a plural verb. So we have used the verb have. So remember, when a sentence contains both singular and plural nouns or pronouns as their subject joined by or nor, the verb should agree with the subject that is closest to it. Well, moving on with our next rule, and that is, when the subjects joined by or nor are of different persons, the verb will agree in person and number with the noun nearest to it. So, when the subjects joined by or nor are of different persons, the verb must agree in person and number with the noun nearest to it. Let us consider the following example in order to understand this rule better. And our example sentence is, neither you nor she knows how to behave. Neither you nor she knows how to behave. In this sentence, the subject you is of second person, while the subject she is of third person. But the verb knows is nearer to the subject she, which is singular. So we use the singular verb knows as it is nearer to the third person singular subject she. So I guess you have understood the rule quite well. So moving on with our next rule, and that is indefinite pronouns are always singular. Indefinite pronouns are always singular. So what does this rule mean? Let us try and find out with the help of some examples. Indefinite pronouns like either, neither, everyone, each one, someone, somebody, nobody, anyone, and anybody are always singular and they agree with singular verbs. Remember, indefinite pronouns like either, neither, everyone, each one, someone, somebody, no one, nobody, anyone, anybody are always singular and they agree with singular verbs. Let us consider the following example. Everyone is selfish. Here we use a singular verb is because the word everyone is used. Let us consider the next example, and that is each of the students has done his work. Remember, each of the students has done his own work. In this sentence too, has is a singular verb and it is used because we have used the word each in the sentence. But you know what? There is an exception to this rule. The exception to the above rule includes pronouns like few, many, several, both, all, and some. These always take the plural form. Remember, few, many, several, both, all, and some always take the plural form. Let us consider the following example. And it states, few were left alive after the flood. Here we have used a plural verb were because the word few has been used in the sentence. Well, moving on with our next rule, and it states, non-count nouns always take singular verb. Non-count nouns always take singular verb. To understand this rule further, let us try and follow few examples. And our example sentence states, the news was devastating for all of us. The news was devastating for all of us. In this sentence, the subject news is a non-countable noun, so it agrees with the singular verb, that is was. Let us take a look into another example, and it states, diabetes affects many people around the world. Diabetes affects many people around the world. In this sentence too, the noun diabetes is a non-count noun. Hence, it agrees with the singular verb affects. Moving on with our next rule. Some countable nouns only have a plural form and take a plural verb. Some countable nouns only have a plural form and take a plural verb. Let us understand this rule further. Some countable nouns as earrings, goods, odds, surroundings, proceeds, contents, and valuables only have a plural form, and so they take a plural verb. Remember, some countable nouns as earrings, goods, odds, surroundings, proceeds, contents, and valuables only have a plural form and they take a plural verb. Let us try and understand this with the help of some examples. And our example sentence is, all the valuables were safely locked away. all the valuables were safely locked away. In this sentence, the subject valuables is a countable noun having only a plural form, so it agrees with the plural verb were. What about the next example? And it says, the goods are delivered in batches. The goods are delivered in batches. In this sentence too, the noun goods is a count noun having only a plural form, and so it agrees with the plural verb are. But remember, when any of, few, many, several, both, all, some is used with a countable noun, the verb is plural. Remember, when any of these, few, many, several, both, all, some is used with a countable noun, the verb is always plural. Let us consider the example. Some men are needed for the battle. Some men are needed for the battle. Note, in this sentence, the word some has been used with the countable noun men. So, we have used the plural verb are. But you know what? When any of, few, many, several, both, all, some is used with an uncountable noun, the verb is singular. Remember, when few, many, several, both, all, some is used with uncountable noun, the verb becomes singular. Let us consider the example, some milk is spoilt. Some milk is spoilt. Note, in this sentence, the word some has been used with the uncountable noun milk, so we have used the singular verb is. Okay, and you know what? We have reached our practice time. And this is how it works. I will be showing you two sentences and you will have to choose the sentence which will agree with subject and verb. So here comes the first one for you. And it states, every one of the shirts has a green collar. Every one of the shirts have a green collar. So which one do you think is the correct sentence? Can you spot it? Yes, you are absolutely right. It is, every one of the shirts has a green collar. Good job. And here comes our next sentence. It states, sandals and towels is essential gear for a trip to the beach. And sandals and towels are essential gear for a trip to the beach. So which one do you think is the correct one? Can you spot it? I think you already have. And you are right. It is, sandals and towels are essential gear for a trip to the beach. Moving on with our next sentence. And it states, the president or the vice president is speaking today. The president or the vice president are speaking today. So what about this one? What do you think? Which is the correct one? Well, you are right again. It is, the president or the vice president is speaking today. Good job. And here comes our next sentence. It states, the dress or the hats are in that closet. And the dress or the hats is in that closet. Well, what do you think about this one? Which is the correct choice? Have you made your choice? I think you have, and you are right. It is, the dress or the hats are in that closet. Good job. Well, here comes our next sentence. And it states, neither she nor I is getting the lunch special. neither she nor I am getting the lunch special. So, what about this one? Which is your choice of correct sentence? I think you have made your choice and you're quite right. It is neither she nor I am getting the lunch special. Good job. Well, here comes our next sentence, and it states, mustard greens are my favorite vegetable. And mustard greens is my favorite vegetable. So what about this one? What is your choice of the sentence? Have you made your choice? I think you have. And it is, mustard greens are my favorite vegetables. Good job. Well, here comes your next sentence. It states, either the sculpture or the paintings are in the museum today. Or, either the sculpture or the paintings is in the museum today. So, what about this one? Which is your choice? Aha, I think you are right again, and it is, either the sculpture or the paintings are in the museum today. Well, that was the end of your practice time. Well, you have done a fantastic job. Hope this video helped you understand the rules of subject-verb agreement and how we use them. If you have any questions at all, you know what to do. Just pop them in the comment box and I will get back to you. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, press the bell icon and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. So this is Margaret signing off for today. Take care of yourself and bye.